And that is it. That is The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. Okay. I'll be honest. I think, personally, that is a better game than Tears of the Kingdom. It's a much more refined experience, which, as I am learning now in my, being in my 30s, being an adult with commitments and so on, I am enjoying games that get to the point and give you not necessarily a streamlined, but an efficient experience, you know? They cut out the fluff, they get to the point. Like, I felt like this with Super Mario RPG, actually, so it's not a problem with, like, it being a modern game or not. It's just, right, go here, do the thing. Here's some puzzles, solve them. You've got a quick way of moving around the map, and you have, like, creativity in the way you can solve these puzzles and the way you can do battles, and I really appreciate that. There is a lot to be said of not allowing the player to over-bloat themselves, if that's a thing. I mean, it's kind of like a modern design philosophy of, well, we're going to have ingredients, so we're going to give you recipes to use those ingredients. What do you use the recipes for, really? You use them to make smoothies that let you do recover hearts, but also other things such as, you know, climb walls faster, be resistant to electricity or fire and stuff like that. And in Tears of the Kingdom, you've got so many of those different things. Like, even just thinking about, you know, butter, flour, it's like you can make a cake and stuff like that. You've got eggs, you've got pumpkins, you've got so many different food types. And here it's just like, no, they've condensed it down. And I appreciate that because, yeah, I mean, in some ways, you can spend as much time as you want trying to, as I say, like, not overbloat. Well, I guess I did say overbloat, but you can spend. It comes back to the philosophy of the player will optimize the fun out of anything. Like in Breath of the Wild, you can go in any direction. You can go and see all the mountains, and you can travel through things like Rivali's Gale, and you've got direct protection and so on. Tears of the Kingdom, you don't get as much freedom because, well, if you don't make the hover bike, you can't freely travel in any direction in a quicker manner than you could in Breath of the Wild, because Rivali's Gale doesn't exist. But here, in Echoes of Wisdom, you've got beds, you've got shrubs, you've got trampolines, you've got the water blocks that let you go anywhere. And it's that kind of thinking of, is there a reason why we should prevent the player from stacking a bed staircase that doesn't make sense in normal gravity? It's like, no, not really. Like, what's the point? You can bind things with Tri to move them around, and that just makes sense because you've got the ability to move things by hovering over them or levitating them in some cases. So the lack of realism allows for a better experience, in my opinion. I mean, I did struggle on some of the very easy puzzles, like the Keese one in particular. It's just like, yeah, you're supposed to just use the Keese and fly over. But the fact that there is that option for the creativity to say, right, what if I do an old bed here, and then I do a wind cannon to gust myself over, and then use a trampoline to jump on the very last edge of the rock, and then even using sword fighter form? Because that feels like a, not necessarily a concession, but an idea of, well, if we're going to have Zelda as playable, and we're going to have Zelda use echoes to do battles in, do we want to give the player abilities to do normal sword swings? And I think this is almost like a test or a feeler to say, how would players respond to a game where you didn't play as Zelda, where you play as Zelda and you didn't have Link at all, and the sword fighter is the compromise in that. It's like, well, if you want to do Link stuff, then you can use sword fighter form, but it doesn't last forever, and you can upgrade the amount of damage you do and what you can use and so on. But yeah, I can totally see like an expanded version of a game where you just play as Zelda. I mean, obviously I'm not a Nintendo game designer, I don't know what kind of form that game design would take, but yeah, it feels like they had an idea of, oh yeah, we'll use the echoes, we'll do creation of your own armies, of your own minions, of solving puzzles by getting around in unusual ways, you know? It feels quite good. Also, I haven't done a lot of this. You know, I've got 15 hearts, so there's at least 5 hearts left to get in heart containers and stuff. Didn't do anything with the automaton. Like, we found Dampé, and he was asking for something that we didn't have. And I was like, oh, well, maybe we do have it, I don't know, but something to think about. Oh, Conde's brothers are coming back. Well, that's cool. I'm glad to see that. But yeah, like, again, it's the kind of thing of, you have your starting town, you have the different regions of the different elements, like fire, water, grass, desert. And yeah, it's just like it's a refined experience, which I appreciate. You know, it's good. It's good. So, I mean, like I said, I've not done a lot of this game, but there's plenty of other side things to do. Like, there's all the different mini games. There's, like I said, the heart containers and so on. There's still probably some parts of the map I haven't explored, like caves and stuff. And yeah, I would say Grezzo, if they are in fact the developers of this game, they did a really good job. Because I think they did a good job with Link's Awakening HD as well. The one thing that I do think is a downside is the game does not run at 60 FPS. And I don't know why. Like, it makes sense why Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom don't run at that, because it's trying to load in a gigantic overworld, and a sky world, and the depths as well. And you have to be able to move between them seamlessly, right? Here, it's something in the isometric style design that's making it not run well, or at least not perfectly, so don't know what the issue with that is, but it doesn't hamper the experience, you know? Like, music's really good. You usually expect Zelda music in a non-Breath of the Wild game to be really good. Puzzles, yeah, pretty good. That last one is a bit of a downer, but it was the last one, so alright, fine. Boss battles, pretty good. Yeah, just the creativity of solving the boss battles were, you know, it was fun. Now, what do we have here? A hint of something to come? Or is it just, here's a little reminder of Tri and the adventure you just had? Ah, there we go. Yeah. So I wonder, does the Tri-Rod being there mean that it doesn't work anymore? Or does Zelda just feel a bit down about using it with Tri not being there? I assume it's because it doesn't work, because it relies on Tri's segments, but there we go. That is the end. Yeah. Overall, great Zelda game. I would recommend it to anyone that likes Zelda in the traditional style. And yeah, really good, really good. So that's it. That is it for today. And that is it for streams for a couple of weeks, I think. Yeah, so it pauses right outside the Still Ancient Ruins, so you can see that the star is what you've completed. So we can go back and get level 10. I guess there's actually more than level 10, technically, if there's more than one rift left. But yeah, we got everything. We can max out our bow and arrow and bombs, max out rift powers, max out our hearts, do all the automaton stuff we haven't done, find all the ingredients and smoothies, but yeah, plenty to do.